Welcome to Round Rock ISD Referral, Screening, and Placement for Talented and Gifted Services Parent Informational Meeting. Today's agenda will include program service options, assessment process, and referral process and timeline. Round Rock ISD offers an array of service options to best meet the needs of our students. In kindergarten through second grade, students are served through an enrichment program called Talent Development. Talent Development support provides enrichment through the classroom teacher and the tag specialists at each campus. Classroom teachers are trained to deliver differentiated curriculum support as well as supporting the socially emotional needs of students identified for gifted services. Students are clustered with these homeroom teachers in groups of at least 3 and larger groups when possible. The campus tag specialist will work with these students to complete an independent study project or group problem-based learning project each semester. Additionally, the tag specialist provides social and emotional support and skills development in subject areas as appropriate. All students are invited to showcase their work in the spring during our Independent Study Showcase. In the spring of second grade, all currently identified students, as well as any newly identified students, will take a nationally normed achievement test. This test, as well as additional data when necessary, will determine whether placement in subject areas of strength is necessary. If no subject area is identified at that time, students will remain in talent development services. At the 3rd through 5th grade levels, students are first considered for talent development. Those identified will then take additional assessments with nationally normed achievement tests and additional data when needed to identify needs in subject areas. Students who do not qualify for talent development will not take achievement tests. Students who do not show a subject area or areas of strength will continue with talent development support. The classroom teacher, tag specialist, and tag selection and placement committee will continually monitor all students receiving services to consider additional subject area support. Further testing may or may not be required. Data such as student work samples, teacher observations, district and state testing data, as well as grades may be considered. Parents do not request additional testing. The tag team will determine when and if this is necessary and will notify parents if additional testing will occur. In the spring of 5th grade, an overall review of services for each student will be considered by the tag team, and recommendations will be made for placement in middle school courses. While every effort will be made to find a subject area prior to middle school, if a student remains in talent development with no subject areas of strength, that student may be exited from the tag program. In 6th through 12th grade, students are identified in subject areas of strength. There is no talent development option at these levels. Students will be served in classes with tag-trained teachers through either whole class instruction or in stacked classes which combine tag and regular education students, with teachers differentiating instruction and incorporating research opportunities for the gifted students. In high school, there are tag pre-AP and tag AP classes, as well as options such as International Baccalaureate, dual credit, dual enrollment, and CTE courses such as PLTW, DECA, HOSA, and etc. to meet their needs. Elementary math services are primarily delivered by the tag specialist. The curriculum is compacted and enriched. While the program does accelerate instruction, depth and complexity are also appropriate differentiations in math. No TEKs are skipped, just compacted to move through coursework at an appropriate pace for these learners. Students identified after 3rd grade are assessed for Tag Math Boot Camp. Those who qualify will be offered the opportunity to attend this summer camp at no charge. The goal is to address any gaps that might occur in the transition from regular classroom to the tag classroom. For those students who are identified or remain in math services in middle school, there are more options in math programming. Those that stay in tag will essentially get 2 years of high school math completed while still in middle school. They do get high school credit, and those grades do appear on the transcript. However, they do not currently count in the student's high school GPA. Students who continue this course of instruction are highly encouraged to continue to take full 4 years of math in high school. The intent of this program is not to complete graduation requirements for math early, but rather to reach college-level math courses by the end of their senior year. These courses can be offered through the high school or through ACC dual credit options. Students in tag may also choose an alternate route beginning in 6th grade, along with many other strong math students. This path will allow the student to complete 1 year of high school credit while in middle school. Again, the intention is not to fulfill the math requirement early, but rather allows the student to complete advanced math coursework such as AP Calculus before graduation. Language arts services vary from campus to campus based on campus characteristics and need. What is consistent at all campuses for language arts is that students are grouped in cluster classes and content, process, and product differentiation and/or depth and complexity is used to enrich language arts skills. Language arts needs are also met through research opportunities and often book clubs or advanced level reading. Science and social studies are also varied. Services are typically delivered through cluster classes in the homeroom and might also be met through the student's choice in independent study projects. The Texas State Plan for the Education of Gifted and Talented Students defines a gifted student as a child or youth who performs at or shows the potential for performing at a remarkably high level of accomplishment when compared to others of the same age, experience, and environment. This definition is important as it drives our process for identification. This is why Round Rock ISD uses a case study approach on each student and considers local and national norms in the determination of services for students. We do not use cutoff scores, but rather guidelines at the national and local levels that drive decisions made on the campus level. Our campus committees will use a holistic approach to identification to best meet the needs of their population. In Texas, gifted programs are created and implemented at the district level. As long as they are in accordance with the Texas State Plan, districts may choose the type of program, assessments, and guidelines for identification. These vary greatly from district to district. It is important to be aware of this if you have a transfer student. Oftentimes, students who transfer from district to district may be asked to take assessments for the receiving district in order to be identified for gifted services. The state recognizes 5 areas of giftedness: general intellectual ability, specific academic aptitude, creativity, leadership, and the arts, but does not require all 5. Round Rock's gifted services are designed for general intellectual ability and specific academic aptitude. For identification, the state requires a minimum of 3 assessments, including quantitative and qualitative data. We use a combination of nationally normed standardized tests for ability, reasoning, and achievement, as well as anecdotal data from teachers and/or parents. Additional measures are used as needed. Parents will be given the opportunity to complete a parent input survey to gather more information about the student and their academic needs. Parents will do this through a link that will be provided once the referral has been received by the campus. If a paper form is needed, please contact the individual campus. In order to meet the needs of all of our students, we use one nationally normed test that is nonverbal and requires no English language in order to complete. Our other assessments are offered in English and Spanish. Please be aware that nationally normed test scores are valid for 2 years, and thus we will only retest at each 2 years. You may only refer a student for gifted testing once every 2 years. Before you decide to refer a child for testing, it is important to determine whether gifted services are needed. While gifted students are often advanced academically, this by itself is not always an indicator that gifted services are needed. There are several characteristics that many gifted individuals share that you may notice in your child. 1. Learns quickly, typically needs few repetitions and can master content with ease. 2. Extensive vocabulary. This may be in their passion area or across content. It may be the use of the language and not just knowing large words. They may play with the words and are strong with their word choice. 3. Grasp math concepts quickly. This would be a specific academic aptitude. These students see relationships with numbers and are able to easily manipulate them to solve problems in a variety of ways. It may or may not be great with math facts. 4. May be highly sensitive and or introverted. This is not all gifted students, but many are introverted in regards to needing their own downtime to recharge. It doesn't mean shy. Being emotionally sensitive to situations can also be a characteristic. This can look very different depending on the situation. 5. Grasp the big picture. Approximately 75% identified as gifted are whole to part thinkers. They see the whole first and then work through a project or problem in a non-sequential way to get back to their final product. This is compared to only 25% in the regular population. Students who are gifted often see connections and can apply them easily. 6. Intensity. Most people who have worked with or raised gifted children who will tell you that can be very intense. This can manifest very differently and doesn't always mean in academics. Some might be very intense about schedules or their environment or not liking change. Timeline and procedures for referring. 1. Campus meetings for TAG referral will be held between October 23rd and November 10th. 2. Determine whether you feel your student should be referred for testing. If you're unsure, speak with former or current teachers. 3. The referral window for gifted services is November 13th through December 8th and ends at 4 p.m. 4. To refer your student to be considered for TAG services, fill out this online registration form, which will be found on campus and district websites beginning November 13th. If you do not have access to fill out an online form, please speak to the campus TAG specialist for elementary or TAG designated counselor at secondary, and they can provide you with a paper copy in English or Spanish. 6. The last item on the online form will ask you to print the Talented and Gifted referral packet and permission to test form. 7. Read the information packet and complete the permission to test form as a hard copy and turn this into your child's campus by December 8th, 2017 at 4 p.m. If you do not have access to a printer, please ask your elementary TAG specialist or TAG counselor at the secondary level for a hard copy and they can provide you one. 9. Both the online referral form, which you submit online, and the permission to test form, which is a hard copy, must be completed and submitted prior to the deadline for registration for testing to be complete. 10. Testing will begin in mid-January and will be complete by the end of February. Those who need additional assessments for subject areas will continue testing in March. You will be notified of specific testing windows by your campus. If you have questions regarding the decision of Campus Screening and Placement Committee, please contact the elementary TAG specialist or secondary TAG counselor. He or she will give you procedures for reviewing your child's profile. 12. Requests for reconsideration can only be made for specific reasons. If you wish to have results reconsidered, you may discuss this with your campus representative after the profile is reviewed. Special note. It is important to make sure the school is aware of special considerations prior to testing. If home language is different from English, but the student does not have deficits in English that would affect testing, then that would not be a factor in the testing. If the student is receiving ESL or bilingual services, this could be a factor and should be communicated in the referral process. You will have the opportunity to do that on the online form. Additionally, district-identified accommodations that are documented in a 504 plan or an individual education plan through special education should also be communicated through the online referral form and prior to testing. Thank you for your time. If you have questions regarding the referral process, please contact Lisa Ramirez or Rain Maggio at the following contact information.